So, hello, good evening, guys. How are you guys doing? So, there was a technical issues, so that's why we faced that issue, and we are live now. So, I see lots of. Okay, great. I see R.N. Patel. Good evening, all. Good evening, Manav. Good evening, Sita, and everyone. So, okay, it will be showing like right now you'll not try to, like, today is the last day. You try to cover all the classes, sessions. Then after that you will be given that auto echo. Is it echoing? Is it echo for everyone? I'll share my screen first. No, I think Dan. It's not. Not for Saloni. So please, Diane, check your computer once. So today, we'll solve few problems basically on pattern printing. So we'll try to solve those questions. Before that, I'll try to give overview what you learned yesterday. We learned two important data structures, that is stack and queue. So one thing, two, three things I'll move forward with the, PPT. So yesterday we learned about stack and queue, correct? So stack is a data structure we implemented with what? Implemented with array. So array has fixed, size, so it cannot be changed in the runtime. This array size cannot be changed in the runtime. So that's why you cannot change the size of the stack also. Similarly, we saw one for the queue also, right? But in stack, we saw two, three functions that, push function, pop function, is empty, is full, and all this helping function we saw. And one thing we learned is, that stack follows LIFO, that is last in first out. So whichever comes the last, that will be deleted first. So that we saw in the code yesterday, correct, with the integers. So one more thing was there is insertion in a stack is called as push, and deletion operator in a stack is called as what? Pop. Similarly, you can push something in a stack, you can insert something in a stack until unless it is empty, like some space is there. But if it is already full, so you cannot enter values or whatever there in the stack, correct? So that's why there was a function, if it is like full or not function, which helping function was there. For pop, there was a is empty function is there not, we check that, correct? So after that, what we learned is, so this is the thing, we saw the application that it is used in browser, and copy paste undo, those things we generally use. Okay, great. Now next thing what we learned is, we learned about queue, right? So queue, we like daily encounters that in our daily life, right? So queue is a data structure. So there we declared two, okay, in the stack, one thing more declared was that top variable, correct? So top variable, what? If top equals to -1, it means stack has nothing. We consider top equals to -1, it means lying somewhere here. So it is nothing there in the stack. So we'll consider that thing. Okay, great. So after that, we learned about queue, correct? So queue is a data structure that we when we suppose go to a shop, we stand in a queue. So when we there in a assembly line, so we there in a standing in a queue, isn't it? So queue, like that is application is, suppose these applications are open, right? So if I switch from this application to this application, so these are in a queue, like after I open this, then after that it will be opened. So simultaneously both cannot be, like both will not be displayed. So that what you have to do for that, you have to make the screen like halfway you have to do the screen, correct? So in queue what we learned, that similarly for in stack, insertion and deletion were there, correct? Similarly in queue, NQ and DQ was there. So NQ we call it as insertion operator for a queue, and DQ we call it as what? Deletion operator of a queue. So that we declare two variable, if you remember, front and what? Rare, correct? And there we follow what? FIFO, first in first out, whichever came first we delete that one. So some array was here and front was iterating. When we delete, we'll move the front to first and we delete that. When you want to enter, we'll increase the rare, and we'll delete, like so that we saw in the code yesterday. So today's problem, basically today we're going to solve is what? Lots of what? Pattern printing problems. So what are pattern printing problems that we'll try to learn today? So what are those? Pattern printing problems are generally used with for loops and while loops. So today will be practice of, see, from the first day what we learned, first day we learned about while loop and for loop bit, right? We didn't deep dive into it. Today we'll deep dive into it, like a pattern printing problem. If question asked in an interview, you can say that way. So I'll try to, like I have tried to find like few steps that you have to follow. If you follow those steps, you are all good to go to solve any type of pattern printing problem. So that will practice you while loop and for loop. You can do in both ways. Like you can apply with while loop also, you can apply with for loop also. I'll try to show you with while loop also. I'll try to show with for loop also. So basically I'll show 1-2 problems with for loop. Rest I will do with while loop, because people face issues like we less use while loop, right? So I'll try to solve with while loop only. Then you can apply those questions with for loop also. So I'll show with both, but today's topic is basically what? Pattern printing. So I'll move to that slide. Pattern printing problems. Okay, let me move there. Okay, so pattern problems, it means what? Suppose in pattern problems is what this type of questions will be there, like star star star, इसको print करके दिखाओ, ऐसा बोल देगा इंटरव्यू, बोल देगा इसको print करके दिखाओ, या ऐसा ऐसा बोल देगा इंटरव्यू की 1 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 ऐसे लिखा हुआ है, इसको प्रिंट करके दिखाओ, इसको प्रिंट करके दिखाओ, इसको प्रिंट करके दिखाओ, ये हाफ ट्रायंगल प्रिंट करके दिखाओ. So these are what? These are pattern problems, and these are solved by what? These are solved. We'll try to create logic. I'll try to say the few steps. You follow those steps, and you're good to go. You're good to solve any type of pattern printing problem. Okay. Okay, great. Now moving forward. So first thing first, to approach a pattern printing problem, what I have to do is, I have considered 3 steps. So what I have to check is like how many number of lines are there, like it means how many rows. Here rows and columns will be there. So these are rows. How many rows are here? 4 rows are here. How many column? 1 2 3 4. That's why I've written C1, this one column, this C2, then C3, C4. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, correct? So this will be solved using 2 loops, will be using 2 for loops or 2 while loops. Then we can solve the problem. Are you guys getting it? So what is the thing you have to consider while solving pattern problem? First thing is you have to see how many rows are there. It means 2 loops will be running. Why I'm saying is, don't try to focus on this number of times outer loop will be running, correct? Don't try to focus on this. First see how many rows are there. Okay, then identify for every row number how many columns are there. So this is row, and how many for this row, how many columns are there? Same number of columns are there, correct? This for this row also same number of columns are there. So identify that thing. Okay, at the last, see what we need to print. We need to print what? Star, correct? So somewhere we need to print 1 2 3 4, somewhere we need to ABCD. So for printing ABCD also, no, I'll try to, before moving to ABCD, I'll be teaching you typecasting also for that. Okay, so before moving, so that's why third point is important. Like what we need to print here, what we need to print? Star. What you need to print? Star. So here if you see rows and columns are equal, it means what? It will form a square. It will form a square, isn't it? So what I said, try to find the number of rows. Try to find number of rows. Okay, great. So that will be the outer loop basically. And for inner loop, columns will be there. So two things I have to print: column, first row, and for that row I have to print column. I have to print this row. For that, this column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 I have to print, isn't it? So for one, I'll take one row and I'll print all the column. Similarly, I'll go forward with it. So two for loops or two while loops will be there to solve this kind of problem. Okay, great. Now moving forward to it, what do we need to print? Star. Third point is clear. How many rows, columns are there? 4. Same number of columns and rows are there. So we got that thing. Okay. Now moving forward, how to create that logic? What we are printing? It's basically a square, isn't it? 4 here and 4 this side also, column side also, row side, column side and row side also 4, 4. It means the ending, the parameters you're going to range you're going to take, that is what, like that is like going to create a square. So if I try to solve this one, suppose if I try to, okay, let's go forward and I'll try to explain here only. So suppose, okay, pattern printing 1. Suppose this is the one question we want to start. So we want to solve, that pattern, and we're going to solve with, suppose I'm going to solve this using while loop right now. Then after that I'll show you with the for loop also. So what we need, three things I have to consider. First, the outer loop will be the number of rows, suppose 4. So we're going to create a generalized solution, correct? So we'll take input from the user. We will not give that 4 rows are there, 4 columns are there. No, if someone wants to print 3 rows 3 columns, 4 rows 4 column, or 5 rows 5 column, so that is also going to be covered. Okay, what do you need to print? Star. Okay, correct. How many columns are rows and columns are equal? Okay, outer, what I said, outer loop will be what? Outer loop will be for the rows, correct? So I'll take how many rows and columns we should do, print. So what I have to do, I'll take an n of integer type, and then I'll take this from the input from the user, that बता दो कितना का बनाना है तुमको, कितना rows and column का बनाना है ये बता दो. तो ये generalized solution हो जाएगा. So this will be the generalized solution. Okay. Now what is the thing? First row, what is happening? First row is starting from where? First row, what I have written? First row, column, I am assuming column 1 it is starting, then column 2, column 3, column 4. Row 1, row 2. So row is starting from where? Row is starting from where? I equals to, I is considered as row. You can say it row. Okay, I'll write row also, okay, no problem. Okay, while so this is the row initialization. I have to write the while loop, right? So what I have to do? I have to do initialization. I have to write condition in a while, and I have to update this while loop also at the last, isn't it? So that it can iterate to every parts of the, like whatever n is, till n it will run. So whatever n is, that time it will run and it will try to print that. Okay, great. So what I'll say is int I equals to 1. It is starting row I equals to starting from 1. I is less than equals to n, isn't it? So n is what, like it will go till nth iteration, isn't it? So this is a while loop. Now inside this while loop, this is the outer while loop. I'll write it. Outer while loop for rows. For, I'll write printing rows. I'll write this one. Okay. Now here what I'll do is this is the initialization. Three things we do. For loop also, if you say we do initialization, we write the condition, we do the updation. Here for the outer loop, while loop, we did the initialization. This one is the initialization of the while loop. Okay, great. Now this one is, why 1? I have given 1 because it is row is starting from 1. Okay, great. Then what is there is, I have to run this till I is less than equals to n. Whatever n value I will giving, suppose I give 3n, so it will be run accordingly. Okay, now inside this I have to print the column. For row 1 I have to print the column. For row 1 I have to print the column also. Row column 1, column 2, column 3. So how it will be printed? It will be printed through what? This is inner while loop. Inner while loop for printing column. Correct. So what I will be doing here, I will do initialization of column also. Column का initialization कहाँ से हो रहा है? Suppose J को column ले लिया मैंने, and that is also starting from 1. Okay, I'll write while loop for whom? J also, isn't it? I'll write while loop for J also. Less than equals to n. Why less than equals to n? Because J को भी तो n तक ही जाना पड़ेगा. n तो उतना नंबर ऑफ रोज एंड कॉलम्स है ना. अगर यहाँ पर ट्रायंगल बन रहा होता, if it would have been triangle, I would have not written n. You guys will get to know this when I move to the triangle, pattern printing problem. Okay, then that time you'll guys understand this one. Okay, great. Now I have written this. But I'm printing what? You remember, third point is what? 2 parts done. While loop done for outer for loop, that is for rows, and while loop done for the inner while loop. Correct. Now what I have to print? Star. So I'll write what? Cout star. Cout star. Okay. तो ये हो गया ना काम. Okay, now for this while loop I have to increment the what initialization I did for this while loop, inner while loop. This is the condition I have written. This is what I'm printing. I have to do the what? I have to do what? J plus plus also, right? So that is what? J equals to J plus 1. I can write J plus plus also, or J equals to J plus 1 I can write. So this is what? This is the inner while loop done. Okay, great. Now one thing if you remember, for this while loop initialization we did, condition we written, but we didn't do the, like for the rows we didn't do what? We didn't do the updation. So what is the scope of it? Its scope is here, isn't it? So what I'll be writing here? Here I'll be doing what? I equals to I plus 1. तो ये हमारा ना कोड हो गया, समझ रहे हो? ये हमको प्रिंट करके दे देगा. लेट्स सी. सपोज आई वांट टू प्रिंट फॉर 4, लाइक 4x4 का कॉलम रो बनाना चाहता हूं. अरे ये लाइन में कैसे क्यों आ गया? Okay guys, so if you guys thinking if it is wrong, so we want square, right? We want this square, isn't it? It means what? After every this iteration, after every row iteration, I have to give what? Enter. So I did that. That's why it's coming in a row. So what I have to do before updating, I have to do what? Cout enter. Okay. Now this should resolve our problem. So I want to print suppose 4 by 4. You see now 4 by, so again one thing I can do is chipka chipka aa raha hai. So what I can do, I'll give some space here. I'll give some space here. Now if I run, and if I write 4, so see 4 by 4 ka we got the square. Now again if I run and if I write 6 by, I want to iterate it till 6. So if I do 6, so it's 6 by 6 ka we'll get it. So this is the thing. This is the first pattern printing problem. Are you guys getting it? मैं ये भी बताऊंगा how to print, for the like triangular view. Only one thing I have to change. Only one thing I have to change. That time I'll move for. I'll not delete this code. I'll not delete this code. That time you guys will get to know. Okay, where we written like other thing. Okay, great. Now again I'll try to open one more compiler. And I'll try to give it name as pattern printing 2. Pattern printing 2. Okay. Now this is done. 3 things I have to consider: how many rows are there, how many columns are there, and what I need to print. That is the like end game. First is rows will be the outer for loop, column will be the inner for loop, or while loop, whatever, and what we are printing, that we need to see. Now suppose this one. Okay, let's, if before moving here, can we print, suppose before moving here, we'll take simple problem. Before moving here, can we print 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3? Okay. Before moving to this one, I'll be printing what? 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3. ये कैसे करेंगे? What we are printing here if you do the observations. ये 3 cross 3 है, इसका मतलब one thing is clear, that how many rows and columns will be equal, right? Rows and columns are equal means what? This will always be like, here we'll be writing j is less than n will be common, n will be writing, this is I is, you can write I in place of I, you can write row, and in place of j you can write at column. So we are considering that thing only. Okay, so one thing I have to consider, that is, basically what we are doing here, how many rows are there? 3 rows, right? 1 2 3. How many columns are there? 1 2 3, right? If this is one first row, you see row is printing, row 1 but 1 1 1 printing, row 2 2 2 2 printing, row 3 3 3 printing. So what we are printing? We are printing rows. We are printing what? We are printing rows. What I said here, last third point will be what we are printing. We are printing what? ये अगर तीसरा, ये अगर फर्स्ट रो है, ये पहला रो है ना, तो पहला रो में हम क्या प्रिंट कर रहे हैं? 1. पहला रो है तो 1 प्रिंट कर रहे हैं, दूसरा रो है तो 2 प्रिंट कर रहे हैं, तीसरा रो है तो 3 प्रिंट कर रहे हैं. तो इसका मतलब हमको प्रिंट क्या करना है? इनर फॉर लूप में रो प्रिंट करना है, आई प्रिंट करना है. आई अगर रो ले रहे हैं तो वो प्रिंट करना है. So can you go forward and try to print this one? Can you go? And this is a square, isn't it? So if I go forward here and suppose I'll write it here. So what we'll do? We'll again take integer n. So and I will take input from the user that कि बता दो कितने का बनाना है. So n, correct? And what I'll be doing is I'll initialize the row, isn't it? And I equals to 1, isn't it? So that I'll do. I'll write a while loop now. And while loop will go till where? I say less than equals to n tak chalega. Then what will happen? Inside this while loop. So this is again what? Outer loop. This is again what? Outer loop. Again I'll copy from here. Now here I'll be writing for inner loop. That is for the column, isn't it? Outer while loop for printing rows and inner while loop for printing column. Okay, great. So what I have to write? I have to initialize. I'll write another while loop. I'll initialize j equals to 1. Okay, I'll write another while loop. I'll write another while loop, and while loop I'll be writing j is less than equals to n. And for this, what I'm printing, see out. I'm printing rows. I said no. We have to see the observation. What are you printing? Row 1 मतलब row 1 print कर रहे हैं, row 2 2 print कर रहे हैं, row 3 3 print कर रहे हैं. नहीं. So what we are printing? That is row. So what I'll be doing? What I'll be doing? Where is that? Okay. I'll be printing what? Row. Row is what? I. Row is what? I. Correct. Now I'll increment that also. J equals to j plus 1. Okay. Great. Great. And after that, this is done. Incrementation. This is I printed, right? What I have to print? 3 steps is there, right? How many rows are there? How many columns are there? What we are printing? What we are printing here? I'll be writing here. We are printing row basically, correct? So this one. After this, what I'll doing? I'll come out of this while loop because initialization, condition, and updation for this while loop is done. Now for this while loop, I have to do what? In like incrementation, isn't it? But before that, we remember that I have to give the what? I have to give the enter also, and then after that I'll increment it. J equals to j plus 1. So this not j equals to, that is I am writing for I, write I equals to I plus 1. So now if I run this code, and it says, give the input. What input will be giving? Suppose what we are seeing for the 3, right? 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3. So I'll be writing 3. See. Okay, if I give space here, so that will work accordingly. So 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3, we are getting the desired result. If I run again, and if I give 4 here, so it will run accordingly. 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3 4 4 4. That's what we wanted. Now one more thing. Now suppose I'll write another one. Suppose can you guys do it this one? What I'm saying is, okay, now do this way. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Can you print this one? 1 2 3 1 2 3. यहाँ पर क्या प्रिंट कर रहे हैं हम? यहाँ पर कॉलम प्रिंट कर रहे हैं, नहीं? यहाँ पर क्या प्रिंट, ये कॉलम 1 है तो कॉलम 1 है, कॉलम 2 है तो कॉलम 2 है, कॉलम 3 है तो कॉलम 3 है. यहाँ पर अगर if I change, okay, you guys will try it or I'll do it. If I change it to j, and if I write 4, see 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. That's what. Okay, 1 2 3. So 4 also I'm taking. That's why 1 2 3. If I give 3, no, so that will come accordingly. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Are you guys getting it? How easy it is? Here observation is what? रो कॉलम तो बराबर है, तो हमने बराबर ले भी लिया. देखो n के बराबर ले लिया, रो एंड कॉलम आर n के बराबर ले लिया. And third thing is what we need to print. What we need to print here, we need to print j for this one. For this one we need to print j. It means we are printing column 1, column 2, column 3. So column 1 के लिए 1 ही print हो रहा है, column 2 के लिए 2 print हो रहा है, column 3 के लिए 3 print हो रहा है. Are you getting it? So similar things can be done. if I do, okay, if I do do changes, j plus 1, if I do j plus 1, suppose if I do j plus 1 and run this code, and if I write 3, समझ में आ रहा है 2 3 4 क्यों हो रहा पैटर्न? Why 2 3 4? Because 1 is getting added here, 2 3 4. So if someone comes here and say that try to print, so see, I taught you the basics, 2 3 4 2 3 4 2 3 4, correct? 2 3 4. If someone wants to print this one, अरे ये भी तो रो ही है, बट ये ये भी तो कॉलम ही है, बट ये फर्स्ट कॉलम के लिए 2 आ रहा है, इसका मतलब क्या है? 1 ऐड होके आ रहा है, नहीं 1 ऐड होके आ रहा है, so that like I added 1, so these are the observation you guys have to do. These are the observation you have to do. If I do -1, if I do -1, it means what? 0 1 2 हो जाएगा. For 3 0 1 2 हो जाएगा. If I do -1, I want to print that. So if I for 3, what if I do? तो 0 1 2 हो जाएगा. So these are the things what we need to observe. I taught both things. What you need to print and what you need not to print. Are you guys getting it? Okay, great. So this is I like done another problem. Okay, I'll try to copy this all things. Okay, let me not open the notepad. I'll try to Control A C paste. मजेदार है, थोड़ा थोड़ा चेंज करके ना बहुत कुछ बन जाएगा, क्योंकि you see I cannot take all problems, isn't it? I cannot cover all pattern printing problems, but you see, one we saw for the row, then I try to do for the column, then after one adding in the column, one here you can do for the adding in the row also. Are you guys getting it? So 2 2 2 3 3 3 4 4 4, that can also be done, isn't it? So we are printing row but incrementing by 1, or like increasing by 1. So that is the thing. Okay, this is done. Now if someone says print this one, 4 3 2 1 4 3 2 1 4 3 2 1, will you guys able to do it? How to do it? So this 3 is done. This 3 problem solving we are done with it, correct? If someone says print this one, if someone says print this one, can you guys print it? यहाँ पर rows column बराबर है, यहाँ पर rows column are equal, isn't it? Rows column equal, it means that is fine. Now here you have to see what you are printing. So row 1 है but यहाँ पर कुछ row print नहीं हो रहा, column 1 है यहाँ पर but वो नहीं print हो रहा, but एक चीज है, ये column 1 है but column 4 print हो रहा है, नहीं, इसका मतलब क्या है? रिवर्स ऑर्डर में प्रिंट हो रहा है. So for that what formula we are going to find it? For that what formula we are going to find it? N minus column plus 1. So suppose here n is 4, right? 4 by 4, like you have taken 4 by 4 square, isn't it? So n is 4 minus, this is column 1, right? 4 minus 1, that is 3, plus 1, that becomes 4. So this becomes 4, then this becomes 3, this becomes 2, this becomes 1. You see, this is the formula. This is just we are printing. This thing we are printing. Only this is the change. Nothing change like else changes are there. Nothing else are there. Nothing else are there. Guys, so if I move forward here, where I have to change? Suppose I want to change in this and I want to print that thing, 4 3 2 1. So what I have to write? N minus j plus 1. Whole thing is done. So this is the only change I have to do. We need to find what we need to print. That is the thing. See, 3 things I have told, right? Number of rows, number of columns, ये तो हमको पता कि बराबर है, स्क्वायर है ना. हम ट्रायंगल के लिए जब करेंगे तब पता करेंगे, और फिर कहाँ पे चेंज कर रहे हैं. What we need to print, that is important. Here star we are printing, so directly written star. But when when you're doing some manipulations, here we are printing, suppose here we are printing what, रिवर्स ऑर्डर में प्रिंट कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पर कॉलम को ही प्रिंट कर रहे हैं, बट ये कॉलम ही तो है, ये फर्स्ट कॉलम में 4 प्रिंट हो रहा है, 4 यहाँ पर है होना चाहिए था, बट रिवर्स ऑर्डर में. सो हाउ टू फाइंड दैट फॉर्मूला? I'll write n is what, 4 by 4, there. So n is 4 minus 1. If you do this 4 3 2 1, this relation came out. Basically mathematics, normal mathematics. If I try to run this code, and I give 4, you see 4 3 2 1 4 3 2 1. So 4 3 2 1 4 3 2 1 आ गया भैया, ये आ गया. तो ये कोई हमने रॉकेट साइंस नहीं चला दिया, वही उसी में चेंज कर दिया हमने. We have changed there only. So this is pattern printing. Okay, great. Now let's move forward to other problem. Okay. So यहाँ पर और भी चेंजेस कर सकते हैं. यहाँ पर ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्या, 3210 3210 अगर करना चाहते हैं तो क्या कर रहे हैं, एक एक घटा रहे हैं ना, एक एक घटा रहे हैं नहीं. तो इसका मतलब कि इसको अगर मैं हटा दूं तो ये क्या वो प्रिंट कर देगा 3210. If someone says print 3210, तो ये तुमको क्लिक होना चाहिए, ये तुमको क्लिक होना चाहिए कि फर्स्ट कॉलम में 3 प्रिंट हो रहा है. इसका मतलब यहाँ पर अगर रिवर्स करके करते तो 4 प्रिंट होना चाहिए था, बट उससे भी एक कम करके आ रहा है, तो उसका रिलेशन कैसा आएगा, n माइनस जे से आएगा रिलेशन. सो दीज आर द मैनिपुलेशंस. मैं डायरेक्टली यहाँ पर बोल देता कि ये प्रिंट करके दिखाओ, तब तुमको दिक्कत होता थोड़ा सा. मैं अगर डायरेक्टली बोलता कि ये प्रिंट करके दिखाओ, मैं डायरेक्टली अगर बोल देता ये प्रिंट करके दिखाओ इसके जगह, तो तुमको थोड़ा सा दिक्कत हो सकता था. यहाँ पर तुमको समझ में आ रहा है कि यहाँ रिवर्स ऑर्डर में प्रिंट कर रहे हैं. कॉलम 1 में 4 4 4 4 दिख रहा है, कॉलम 2 में 3 3 3 दिख रहा है, and in column 3rd we getting 2 2 2. It is getting a reverse, isn't it? But if I direct, this is also reverse, this is also reverse, but by decreasing 1, isn't it? So that's why I decrease 1. If I add 1, so whatever the initially we did, we'll get that result only. So if I write 4 here, if I write 4 here, 4 3 1 4 3 1, are you guys getting it? This is the thing, this is the thing. Okay, okay. So now one more thing, that is what, here suppose we want to print 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, और ये तुमको प्रिंट करके दिखाना होगा. ये I want to see in the chat section, I want to see this in chat section. So this question and this question is same, this question and this question is like almost same, correct? So if I want to print 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, how to? So यहाँ पर क्या है ना, यहाँ पर कोई रो भी नहीं है, कॉलम भी नहीं है, कुछ तो नहीं है, बट यहाँ पर मेरे को समझ में आ रहा है, here I am understanding that counter is going on, isn't it? Some type of counter is going on, some type of counter चल रहा है. इसका मतलब हम काउंट करेंगे 1 2 3, फिर एंटर मार दो, 4 5 6 एंटर मार दो, 7 8 9 एंटर मार दो, ऐसे चल रहा है कुछ. So how to implement this one? How to implement this one? यहाँ पर काउंटर चल रहा है, करेक्ट? So here printing thing will be different. Here printing will be different. So what I have to do? What I have to do? I'll write cout, and I'll give what? Count. I'll print what? Count, and I'll give some space to it. And count equals to count plus 1. So this will increase the counter. This will increase the counter level, correct? So now count is not known by what? Count is not known by compiler. So I have to initialize. Count is starting from where? Count is starting from 1. So I have to initialize also count, isn't it? So what I'll do is I'll write int count. I'll write int count equals to 1. So this initialization I did. Okay, great. In the printing part only change two things. Count, then I given some space, I'm printing what count, it started from 1 and it will increment that thing in the while loop and it will do. Let's see if I write what we're doing, 1 2 3 4, right? So 3 for 3 we are going to see it. See, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, it is printing that way. It is printing that way, isn't it? Now one thing, what I said here, if I say print this one, what is this? Is this counting or something? Like it is counting, but it is counting by 3 steps, multiple of 3, 3 6 9 12 15 18. Okay, before going to this one, can I go, before going to this one, can I try to print this one before moving here? Can I print this, 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13? Can I do this one? ये हमने देख लिया. Can we do this one? Can anyone answer in the chat? Sir, I couldn't find any of the previous assignment. Could you please help me with that? Okay, Akansha, the moderator is there. Can you give them assignment? They're saying that they didn't got the assignment or what? I don't know. Okay, you will be helped, per month. Okay, so can you guys, okay, can we solve this one? Guys, can we solve this one? 5 6 7. What we're doing, we're just initializing from 5. Here we're initializing from 1, isn't it? So if I change here, if I change here initialization count to 5 and I run this one and I write 3. So you see 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. That is the thing. Now एक चीज देखो, यहाँ पर काउंट को यहाँ पर 1 से इनिशियलाइज करता हूं एंड काउंट को 3 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देता हूं. एवरी टाइम इट विल रनिंग इन द लूप. एंड इफ आई गिव 3, so 3 6 9 12 15 18 20 21 24 27. See, this thing is coming. So you see the manipulations. What are the manipulations we're doing from the simple problem to whatever the, like how many more pattern printing problems can be solved with that? Like when you try to get that, are you getting it? So I'll try to copy this, the original one. Copy original one was this, correct? So Control A C and I'll just paste it here. So you see, we are doing one pattern printing problem and we are solving lots related to it. So you have to apply with your brain, every pattern printing problem cannot be solved, like it cannot be showed, isn't it? We can, teach you the what? We can teach you the methodology, whatever the things are there. So that we can teach. Now, here you see that, the triangle thing came. So here what are we printing? We know we are printing star. We are printing what? Star, correct? But यहां पर देखो क्या कम होता जा रहा है. रो तो बराबर ही है, बट वो कॉलम जो है ना, यहाँ पर पहले एक था इसके लिए पूरा कॉलम, देन इसके लिए धीरे धीरे क्या होता जा रहा है, कम होता जा रहा है, isn't it? These values are getting reduced. This one. So you remember we did this problem for 6. If I change for the column here, to here less than I'll just let you know. So what is happening there? One thing I changed, n was written here, I changed to I. अब देखो, suppose, okay, let me take for 4. Let me take it for 4. I'll run it again. Let me take it for 4. Okay, for 4 you see how many, for this one all stars are printing here also. For this one, everything is printing, right? But column is depending, like whatever the columns are there, it depending on what? It depending on the you know column is depending on the row, isn't it? So here it is not full star, here it is not complete, isn't it? If I change I to, like, I is what? Till rows. Column will be printed till rows. So here is the iteration. Suppose for row 1 will print what? Column row 1 when I write, then call is less than equals to I, right? Here I am writing 1 for 1 row 1, I starting from 1. So 1 it is starting, so I will be what? 1. So 1 star will be printed here, isn't it? Then when I will increment from here, it will go to 2, then 2 star will be printed, then it will increment to 3, then 3 star will be printed. That thing is showing here. This is the iterations whole thing. For row 1 only one column like will be printed. For row 2, 2 columns will be printed. For row 2, 2 columns will be printed. Row 3, 3 columns will be printed. Row 4, 4 columns will be printed. So we have to do what? Restrict. We have to restrict here. We have to restrict the condition. You remember every time we are writing I less than n, j less than also equals to n, isn't it? But we have to restrict here. But we have to restrict here, isn't it? So this is the thing. Okay, let's move forward. Control C. So we are moving towards triangle part. So we'll just change there, and after that we'll apply the logic again. We apply C. Now 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. Same thing, same triangle. So one thing will be changed. That is, it will be restricting till where? Row. Column will be restricted. For row 1, 1 column will be printed. For row 2, 2 column will be printed, isn't it? So for row 3, 3 column will be printed. Row 4, 4 column will be printed. We are printing number of rows 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the logic. We are printing what? Rows, isn't it? We are printing rows. We are printing I. So what I have to change? What I have to change? If I go here, and I remove this count 1, because this was okay. I remove this count and this count, and I write I. This is what? Row, isn't it? Okay. This is what? Row. That was what? I is what? Row. But here, if I print this one, okay, let's see. If I print this one, what is coming? If I print this one, what is coming? Suppose I give it for 3. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3 is coming. Correct? But what do we want? 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. Correct? So what I have to do? I have to restrict till row. So I'll change it to I here. I'll change it to I here. So if you guys getting confused what I am doing, so you can write, instead of I know, you can write row also. Instead of I, you can write row also. For row, okay. And this is the n, whatever the value is. J is what? Column. Call, I'm writing call, okay. And I will be written as what? Row, but this will become big, that's why I was not writing. Okay, this is what? Call. This is what? Call. You can write call plus plus also. Here I have to change all here also. That is row, isn't it? Row, and this one also I have to change. But मैं जब ये प्रिंट कर रहा हूँ, ये तो मेरे को फुल स्क्वायर दे, कुछ तो गलती कर दिया. J कहाँ पर J यूजर? Okay, this I need to change. Call. Okay, now I run it. Again error is there. I को change करना पड़ेगा row तक. Anything else I or row is no. Okay, let's run it. So now if I run for 4, it is giving 1 2 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3 4 4 4. That's what we wanted, right? Because ट्रायंगल कहां से बनेगा? ट्रायंगल ये बना रहा है, ये रो लिख रहे हैं जब इसको, जब अगर मैं n के बराबर कर दूंगा ना तो ये स्क्वायर बन जाएगा। ये इसके अगर n को बराबर कर दूंगा तो ये स्क्वायर बन जाएगा। देखो, तो ये डिसाइड करेगा ये स्क्वायर बनेगा कि ट्रायंगल बनेगा, और दिस विल डिसाइड व्हाट यू नीड टू प्रिंट। वी आर प्रिंटिंग व्हाट? रो ओनली। दिस इज रो 1, so 1 printing रो 2, तो 2 is printing रो 3, तो 3 is printing. Are you guys getting it? That is the thing, whole thing. Okay, so I have to change here what? I have to change to row, and I have to run it. Okay, I'll copy this one and paste it here. Okay, this one thing is done. Okay, great. So moving forward, I'll move forward here, and okay, so this like this is also can be done 1 2 3. This is also what? Counter only, but it's in a triangular format. This is a counter, but it's in a triangular format. Can you guys do it? Try to do this one. Try to do this one. Try to do this one. Now I'll go forward. So here what? 1 2 3 3 4 5. This is not, counting. If you see, this is counting 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Correct? That we did for the whole square. Correct? And this is the, suppose this is the thing. Suppose I want to print this one. What I have to do? What we can see here, n is how many? What is the n? N is 4, and value is getting increased from the row number. So if it is starting, row number is 1, so 1. Row number is 2, so 2 से बढ़ रहा है. Row number 3 है तो 3 से काउंटर बढ़ रहा है. Row number 4 तो 4 से काउंटर बढ़ रहा है. ये ट्रायंगल है तो यहाँ पर क्या करना पड़ेगा? लेस देन रो ही करना पड़ेगा ना. और रो नंबर से बढ़ रहा है, इसका मतलब क्या है? ये हमने पहले कर चुके हैं. नहीं करा क्या? Let's go and try to do this one. Counter, when you did the counter one, okay, where I did the counter one, let me copy that. Okay, here is the counter one, correct? So ये हम पहले कर चुके हैं, देखते हैं एक बार क्या हो रहा है. कॉपी कर लिया मैंने. ओके, कंट्रोल A V. पेस्ट क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? Copied. Okay, I need to stop it first. So let control V. When we did this one, if you guys remember, for the counter, when we did this one, I write 4. What it was coming? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. तो ऐसा आ रहा था. But what I have to print right now? 1 2 3. So this can be done, because if I do, what I have to do? If I change here, no, j is less than equals to n. If I change equals to I, and if I run this one, and if I do 4, and if I do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So see, मैं ही कर दे रहा हूं वैसे तो पूरा. सो ये हो गया, क्योंकि ये बस क्या था? काउंटर ही तो था यार, कुछ नहीं था यार, काउंटर ही था. इनिशियलाइजेशन 1 से था. करेक्ट? सो what we'll be doing is now one thing. So but we want to print this one. So ये भी काउंटर है, बट ये रो के वाइज काउंट हो रहा है. 1, तो रो 1 है तो 1 प्रिंट हुआ. ट्रायंगुलर है. ओके, ग्रेट. रो 2 है तो 2 से काउंट होना स्टार्ट हुआ. सो रो 3 है, that's why it's starting counting from where? 3 4 5. Row 4, so it is starting counting from where? 4 5 6 7. Correct? So that is the thing. So what I have to do? इसका मतलब initialization is starting from row, isn't it? What I have to change? So this is I will be there. Correct? This I will be there. And what I have to write? I have to write count equals to, I have to write what? Count equals to what? Row I. It is starting from where? I, isn't it? And if I run it for 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, something wrong happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like completely doing the what? Counter. Completely doing the counter. So what I have to do? Okay, okay. Row equals to once. I have to change it to where? I have to change to J. I will change this one to J. Now if I was not declared. Why? Okay. I'll write int I. Now if I write 4, कुछ तो गड़बड़ कर रहा है हमने. We want to do what? I'll try to. So मैं row और column में confuse हो रहा हूँ. So what I'll write row equals to 1. Okay, great. Now count. Suppose I'll write is, it's starting from value, and its value is starting from where? Row. Okay, its value starting from row. Then what we doing? What we written? I as what? What we writing? I as what? We'll be writing call is less than equals to, not call. Row is less than equals to n, and we'll be writing j as what? Column. Okay, call is also starting from 1. Okay, great. Now before moving to while loop, before moving this to while loop, what I have to do? I have to write this one inside this one. Control X and Control V. Column equals to 1, and then value equals to row, then count j. J is what? Column. Call. J is what? Call. Okay. I is what? Row. I is what? Row. So this is the thing. And count कहाँ से? हमने वैल्यू लिया है, तो हमको यहाँ पर वैल्यू लिखना पड़ेगा. वैल्यू को इंक्रीमेंट कर रहे हैं, वी एड यू ई, और इसको वैल्यू के बराबर कर दो. So what we did, we initialize the row equals to 1, then we write the while loop, and inside that we initialize column is equals to 1. Then we take value as row, because value as row was because 1 is first row, so 1 से start हो रहा है, second row so 2 से start हो, so that is we are taking equals to that value on row only, correct. Then we move inside what? While loop. Then okay, यहाँ पर j दिख रखा है, call और I को रो बना दो, okay, great. Now C out is less than value, C value. Okay, let me run right now. Okay, now if I do for 4, now see 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is what we basically wanted. I'll just copy this code and I'll just paste it here. So we did what? We did only initialization with row, because it is starting from row. Second row तो 2 से start हो रहा है, third row third से start हो रहा है. Are you guys getting it? Okay, guys, we are over with the time. So you guys can practice, all these things. You guys can, with those pattern printing things and all those stuff, you guys you guys will be getting the whatever the assignments are there. You guys try to submit all those things. You guys will get, after the session ends, you guys will be getting, the certificate for that, correct? So this is the end of the DSA. Further, we learn, lots of DS are there, trees, graphs, BST, lots of big data structures are there, and very important things are there, the data structure. You guys can, join the Future Dev program. That is only $399. You get 2 months of training there. Like for $399 you get 8 certificates in this 2 months, so that's a huge opportunity. Like I'll teach you the whole data structure there, not like full stack program, but you guys can join the full stack program if you want. And if you want, you guys can join the future dev, that like cost only $399 for the 2 months. You got to learn lots of things and lots of things, not only DSA, JavaScript, SEO, every kind of tech thing that is going on, that is you going to learn there. Okay, we'll end the session here, guys. Thank you for joining this 5 days class. We'll end the session here. Thank you everyone. Good night to all.